Picture this: the roar of the crowd, the clash of champions, and the chance to witness history in the making. UFC 323 Dvalishvili vs. Yan 2 is gearing up to deliver unforgettable moments in Las Vegas that could redefine the bantamweight and flyweight divisions forever. Get ready to dive into the action-packed showdowns that have fans buzzing worldwide. This electrifying event, set for Saturday, December 6th, at the iconic T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, features not one, but two heart-pounding title bouts that are sure to keep you on the edge of your seat. In the headline main event, reigning UFC bantamweight champion Merab Dvalishvili, whose profile you can check out on the UFC website, is aiming for an unprecedented fourth successful title defense within a single calendar year. He'll face off again against the talented former champion and current number 2 ranked contender, Petr Yan, whose details are also available on the official UFC site. But here's where it gets controversial. Rematches like this often spark debates about whether fighters get the respect they deserve on their second go-around. Do you think Yan can turn the tables this time? Or is Dvalishvili's dominance here to stay? The co-main event adds even more drama, with UFC flyweight king Alexandre Pantoja linked here for more info. Striving for his 5th title defense, he'll square up against the formidable number 1 ranked challenger Joshua Van, whose UFC athlete page is worth a look. For those new to mixed martial arts, these defenses are like climbing the highest peaks in a sport where every victory brings prestige and a step closer to legendary status. But they also highlight the grueling toll on fighters pushing their limits year after year.
Don't miss out. Plan your viewing with ease. The early preliminary fights kick off at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 3 p.m. PT for our West Coast viewers, followed by the main prelims at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. PT. The star-studded main card available live on PPV, which you can order directly from the UFC site, starts at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. PT. Wondering how to catch the action no matter where you are? Head over to the UFC's guide on watching and streaming UFC 323 in your country for all the details. As the event unfolds, we'll keep this page updated in real time with official results, detailed fight recaps, and exclusive backstage interviews to keep you in the loop. But here's the part most people miss. These undercard battles often reveal the next big names, turning what seems like a warm-up into a launchpad for future stars. Let's break down the thrilling outcomes from the prelims so far, starting with the early action.
First up, Bruno Ferreira triumphed over Marvin Vettori via unanimous decision, with judges scoring it 29-28 across the board. The Hulk turned in the most significant win of his UFC journey, dominating with relentless activity and powerful counters that outshone Vettori's efforts. Despite weighing in 3 pounds over the middleweight limit on Friday, an interesting detail that adds to the fighter's journey, Ferreira stayed aggressive, landing more effective strikes while Vettori had brief moments but couldn't capitalize. This victory marks Ferreira's 3rd consecutive win, boosting his record to 6-2 in the octagon and 5-1 in his last 6 bouts. As a graduate of Dana White's Contender Series Class of 22, the 33-year-old Brazilian from Brazil is riding high, edging nearer to the top 15 rankings among middleweights. For beginners, think of this as a masterclass in pacing and strategy. Ferreira's patience paid off, showing how controlling the flow can lead to victory, even against a seasoned opponent like Vettori. Next, Jalen Turner made a spectacular comeback, defeating Edson Barboza by TKO in round 1 at 224. After taking a break from the sport, the Tarantula unleashed a ferocious start, cutting Barboza early and piling on measured, impactful strikes that left the veteran staggering. Barboza, nearing 40, never found his rhythm, and Turner sealed the deal with a knockout on the ground. At just 30, Turner brings immense talent and size to the lightweight division, where he's previously cracked the top 15.
This win puts him back on track for future rankings, proving that comebacks can be just as thrilling as debut victories. Controversy alert. Some fans argue fighters like Turner deserve more hype early, while others say experience trumps youth. Where do you stand? What followed was an absolute barn burner. Iwo Baranevsky knocked out Ibo Aslan in round 1 at 129, capping off a wild back-and-forth exchange that had both fighters teetering on the edge of defeat before Baranevsky's decisive right hand ended it. This 90-second slugfest was pure chaos, the kind that reminds us why fans love the unpredictability of MMA. Baranevsky, who earned his UFC spot in September via a lightning-fast Contender Series KO, now stands at 7-0 professionally with a perfect finishing rate. As a Polish judoka, his style blends grappling prowess with striking power, and this performance positions him as an exciting newcomer in the middleweight ranks for 2026. Post-fight, he shared his thoughts in an interview. Check out the UFC Fight Pass for more, where you can unlock endless combat sports content, from live fights to global events. It's the ultimate platform for MMA enthusiasts, offering 24/7 access to the world's best in fighting. Mansour Abdulmalik wasted no time dispatching Antonio Trocoli via submission, a guillotine choke at 1-9 of round 1. For those unfamiliar, a guillotine is like a neck crank, where an arm wraps around the opponent's neck, squeezing until they tap out, often from a takedown position. Abdulmalik, fresh from Dana White's Contender Series class of 24, charged in, secured a takedown, and locked it up as Trocoli tried to stand. The University of Maryland-trained fighter, now 3-0-1 in the UFC after 10 straight professional wins, is a rising star at 185 pounds, backed by Extreme Couture. His lightning-fast finish highlights how technical skill can end fights in mere moments, setting him up for big things soon. Catch his interview on UFC Fight Pass to hear more from this promising talent. Kicking off the featherweight action, Myron Santos bested Muhammad Naimov with a TKO via strikes at 0-21 of round 3. Despite missing weight the day before, Santos controlled the first 2 rounds with leg kicks and occasional right hands, wearing down Hillman. In the third, a perfectly timed overhand right dropped Naimov, leading to the stoppage. Santana, a tough 32 winner, has now won 3 fights this year, boasting an 18-1 record overall and 4-0 in the UFC. At 25, he's one of the division's brightest prospects, blending strategy with power. Think of it as a blueprint for young fighters building momentum. His post-fight chat is available on UFC Fight Pass, where you can dive deeper into the sport's global scene. Looking ahead, the featured prelim pits number 13 ranked lightweight Grant Dawson, 23-1 from Coconut Creek, Florida, against Manuel Torres, 16-3 from Ciudad Madera, Chihuahua, Mexico. Dawson's UFC profile shows his credentials, and he'll defend his top 15 spot in a bout that's generating plenty of buzz. For the latest on the main card results, recaps, and scorecards, follow the UFC's dedicated pages. And remember, UFC 323 is streaming live from T-Mobile Arena. Early prelims at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. PT, prelims at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. PT, main card on PPV at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. PT. What a night of high-stakes combat.
But here's where we turn to you. Do you believe rematches like Dvalishvili versus Yan deserve the hype? Or should fighters focus on fresh rivalries? Is weight cutting too strict, as seen in some of these bouts, or a necessary part of the sport? And which underdog, like Baranevsky or Abdulmalik, are you rooting for to rise? Share your opinions and predictions in the comments. Let's debate the future of UFC.